Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome. My name is Avril Hepner, and I'm from the British Deaf Association here in Scotland. Now, you may be wondering why I'm wearing this very festive hat. Well, because we're in the middle of December and Christmas is far approaching. And tonight's discussion is going to be festive craft ideas, things to use for Christmas or any special holidays. So I'm super excited about tonight. We have three guests joining us, and we're going to have a round the table discussion and look at each of their skills and all of their crafts. They have a unique take on crafts, and maybe our viewers at home maybe are sitting at home, maybe fed up or lonely and looking for something to do that might inspire you to take something up. And also, it'd be great to find out your feedback and any questions. You know how it works. Just put it in the comments box and I'll ask you a question on your behalf. So let's start with our first guest, Helen.
Hello. Hi, I'm Helen. Hi. And I'm based here in Scotland, and I'm really excited to show you some of the ideas I have for this year coming up.
Oh, looking at your background there, you've got lots of things to share with us.
I do.
I'll ask you more later. Our second guest is Andrew Clifton. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Andrew, and I'm from Nottingham.
Nottingham, fabulous. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Pleasure.
I have seen your work, so thank you for coming tonight.
It's good to be here.
And our final guest is Moira.
Hi.
Hello, Moira.
Hi, I'm Moira, and I'm from Scotland, and I like making all kinds of things. Looking forward to tonight.
It is wonderful to look at each of you, particularly in your backgrounds, and look about all your crafts. But I think the first question I have to ask all of you is really, or maybe what I'll do is I'll show a photograph first, and then you can give us a demonstration of the crafts. But before we start that, could I ask you, how did you get into crafts in the first place?
Well, I've been creative from when I was really small, and I've been making things always. When I got to about the age of 10, I think, I started doing flower arrangements at my mum's home. And then from that, I think my crafts emerged from that. I would do cutouts and collages and things when I was little,
Wow, so you've been progressing since you were young. Did you learn any crafts from family or role models? Who did you look to?
Well, my auntie and my cousins are quite good makers. And I used to look at old crafting books, in the days before the internet. It was from there.
That's amazing. How many years ago was it you started the flower arrangement?
Well, I should say that when I was at school, I knew that I wanted to be a florist. I wanted to work in a florist shop. And then the careers officer at school, when I told them that's what I wanted to do, said, no, that's not for you. That's not for you. It's best if you went to work at your father's building firm, building houses.
Okay.
And I thought, that's, I have to do that then. So I went to work with my father. I lasted 9 months. I absolutely hated it because what I wanted to do was work with flowers. So my mum actually asked a pal of hers, to ask a flower shop that they knew if there were any opportunities. And there was. And there used to be this old scheme called the YTS scheme, the youth training scheme. And
Yep.
I went to college for 2 years, got onto the scheme, worked in 8 different florist shops. And so far, I've been working in floristry for 35 years.
Wow, 35 years. Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. Helen, again, so your crafts, how did you get into it? Well, I was late as well. It really was through my daughter when she was young. At that time, I was just looking, we were having a party and I looked through YouTube and I was gathering old bits and bobs around the house and I ended up making crafts and from there it's just exploded.
So when we're talking
And
about late, that's when you had your children, yeah?
oh yeah, it was after my children at school. I wasn't really motivated or attracted to art, but I probably did have that inside. I just needed someone to take it out of me. It's a bit like Andrew.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's turn to you, Moira. How did you start getting interested in crafts?
Do you know what? I can't remember the day. I would look at my mother's leftovers, things like maybe old clothes or bits of material, and I would design dolls' clothes and I would make furniture. I mean, we weren't the richest of families. We couldn't get all the brand new toys, so we would make our kind of own entertainment. And then when I went to the Deaf Club, the deaf community had a really strong arts and crafts club there, and I joined that, and I really learned lots of skills from there.
And Helen, do you make as a solo artist, or do you work with other people?
I'm mostly on my own.
What about you, Andrew? Do you make with others, or do you make your own stuff? Well, when I'm crafting, I do my own things, but I also teach friends, youth clubs. I do crafting with them.
Fantastic. Now we've got a wee bit of background about each of you. Now we're desperate to see what you make. So who am I going to pick first? Helen, could you show us one craft that you've made?
Okay. Let me think what I'm going to show you. Hang on. Okay. You'll probably know this, right? This magazine. So I've got a year's worth of a subscription to this magazine, and I've kept all the magazines. I haven't thrown them away.
Okay.
And I've looked for really beautiful, colourful pictures, the kind of things that appear in these magazines. And I had an idea about what to do with them. So it's really easy. You take the magazine, and what you do is you take a page and you fold it like this. So turn down one corner, fold, then turn it in and fold. Okay, you get the idea? You keep going all the way through the magazine. Keep going right to the end, all the way. Your hands get a bit sticky, and but what you've made at the end is this.
Wow.
It's a Christmas tree. And then you might be thinking, well, how am I going to stand it up and all of those kinds of things? Haha, I have a solution for you. So any charity shop, you'll be able to buy old wine glasses, or if you've got an old wine glass at home, what you can do is take the wine glass, something like this. You turn it upside down. And what I do is I use my glue gun. I apply some glue to the surface there. Careful, because glue guns are hot, so you always have to be careful when you're using those. And then you just attach that like that.
Wow.
Okay. And hang on. Once the glue is dried, ta-da!
Wow, that's stunning. All that extra stuff.
Hang on. Let me show you. There you have it.
It's really, really good. And that's just from a magazine, just simply folding, and then obviously taking the spine off the magazine and then gluing it together.
No. Because the spine's really useful. You can glue the front and the back together. You can staple it, glue it, and that gives it a kind of strength to hold it up. So can you see these are all?
Got
these
you.
are all kind of stapled, and can you see? So you do all the folding, and then you make sure it's firm, and then you turn it into this kind of carousel, into a tree. More later.
That was amazing. Andrew, before you tell us how you make the things, I think we've got a photograph of a craft that you've made previously. Oh, hang on, Andrew. hang on. We're going to show a photograph first. Could we have the photograph up, please? Thank you. Wow, what a lovely selection of your work, your craft work. Could you now give us a demonstration of one of those things that you've made?
Yes. How about this?
Lovely.
And you can put those on the Christmas tree, or you can hang them in your car, or you can hang them on a door, or anywhere you like, really. And very simple to make. How about this?
Oh, wow, that's stunning.
Here's another one.
Okay. Oh, I recognise them. Are they cloves?
Star anise.
Oh,
Star
you're right.
anise.
You're absolutely right.
It
So they
smells
are.
really strong. Here's the packet.
That's right. Oh, you're right. The smell is really familiar.
Here's another one.
What are they again?
That's cinnamon sticks.
Lovely. So how do you make that?
Okay, well, let me just show you now. So you take some twine like this. It's very useful. This is binding.
Okay.
Binding wire. It's very useful. And you can buy that from the Range, you know, the shop, the Range. You
Right.
can buy
So
it
big
online.
supermarkets.
Yeah, that's right. Very, very useful this stuff is, because as you can see, look at that, you can shape it and you can twist it.
Ah.
Yeah, so useful. Binding wire. And then let me just cut that off. So you get your slice of, this is a dried slice of orange.
Okay.
And then you just pierce it with this binding wire. Pass that through. Cut a good length off. So you've now got that secured onto the wire. Then you're going to take one of your cinnamon sticks. You're going to add that onto the top. You're going to wrap your binding wire around that so it's held firmly in place. Just like this. There you are. Now twist those two threads to keep it in place. Voila.
So simple.
And then you might add one more. Maybe a star anise. And for this one, you take your two threads, you flatten them out like that, place your star anise into the center, and you want to wrap your binding wire around the star anise to secure it. So it goes around once, and then you twist again at the back to hold it in place.
Wow.
And there you have it.
3 little
And then
things, and you've
you might
made
just
that.
twist at the top to form a loop, and it's ready to hang.
That's amazing.
You could do a bow at the top, you know, like you tie your shoelaces, that kind of thing. You know, you could use some fancy colored ribbon, and just tie a kind of bow around, like as if you're tying your shoelace, and it starts to look like this.
Yeah, that is lovely. That's so simple, so effective. Is there a smell, Andrew, from it?
Not so much from the orange, just a little from the orange, much more fragrance from the star anise. That's a much stronger fragrance. And the cinnamon sticks as well.
Oh, thank you for that. That was lovely. So, Moira, over to you. Let's see your example. Well, what I would say to people, you know, all the things that you would keep for recycling. Well, some of those things I keep in some of your pots. So there's an old plant pot I've had outside. And what I did was made this simple tree. So how you make it is by making 2 pieces, and you could use some foam that has a bit of stiffening in it, a bit of balsa wood, like I'm showing you now, very, very light wood. You then paint them, or you could use hard plastic. Then you paint the tree. You can see that. Put a wee star at the top of the tree, and it's there in a tiny wee clothes peg. And then you get these acorns from outside. You again paint them, give them a bit of shine. Join the 2 parts of the tree together like so. Add your little star, and then place it in your old pot with a whole load of acorns and a nice ribbon just to finish it off. And that's it.
I love the ribbon. That looks lovely. All 3 ideas have been so different. Thank you all. So we've got a couple of comments that have come in from viewers. So I think it's probably a good time to share some of those. So we have a comment from Erin first. Let's take that one if we can. Erin says, I absolutely love Helen's approach to her crafts. Environmental friendly and sustainable too.
You know, I would like to add to that. Erin's comment, I think it is so important when you think about crafts and material used in crafts, is that some things you use can be not good for the environment. So tinsel like that doesn't, well, it's impossible for it to disintegrate and biodegrade, yeah. So you can use it, keep it in for a few years, so you're not being wasteful, not destroying the atmosphere. But like this thing, for an example, I was given a present and it was bath salts in this gorgeous bottle. And once they'd finished, I thought, I just put some glitter on it in this bottle. And you see, with a wee tiny light, I've made a little lamp. Now, what I also added into this bottle was, so, and make sure you don't throw these things out, was all of the tinsel that I had lying about. That's what I used in the bottle. So there you go, a bit of glitter on the outside of the inside of the bottle. Yep, and just pop in your tinsel and look how effective that is.
Lovely. And you just push it in.
Yeah, it's a lot more than you think, isn't it? But certainly, you know, you could keep that 5-10 years. So in one way, it's trying to mitigate, you know, against doing anything that will damage the environment. So I wanted to add that.
At its best. Yeah, fantastic. And another comment from Erin, who wants to comment on Andrew. Andrew's ornaments will have smelt great. I remember a memory from my mum's old florist shop. Christmas time when I was younger, there was always a lovely scent of dried oranges and cinnamon sticks around the shop. So that's a lovely childhood memory for Erin. How lovely. That's really nice. You've created that memory for Erin.
You can also, if you see the botanicals I'm showing you, look, I don't know if you can see it in my camera. There it is. So you can buy these dried spices, no problem at all. So there you go, easy to buy.
So just shop bought.
Yeah, and you could maybe take a selection of each of them and put them in maybe a big open bowl, and that will create a lovely scent around your house.
Okay. Now let's turn to you for your second craft. Let me pick on Moira first. Can you show us what else you've made, please?
Absolutely. So this is something, hope you can all see it at home. So obviously you have to buy the embroidery hoop, but you would then use material you've got around the home. Thicker materials, better, and then you stretch that over the hoop. And then you need this special thread. it's embroidery thread. You use it for cross stitching, and there's multiple colours in it, and that's the thread that you would use for stitching. And if you look at that tiny wee circle there, that raised circle, well, how you do that is you actually get the thread, wrap it around the needle, and then pull through, and you've created this wee knot. Once you've done that, you cut all your threads at the back just to make everything look neat.
Can you show us that again, Moira?
Yeah, do you see it there? There's all the threads, because you will see when you're finished, it'll be quite a mess. So neaten it up, cut away all the loose threads, and then put a wee bit of ribbon.
That's beautiful. Hang on, I know that you have all kinds of different crafts, because we've got more photographs of your craft work to show. Oh, bravo. I noticed there that there was something that looked like it was made of Lego. Is that right? Can you tell us
Keen
more?
eyes, Afro, absolutely. Well, what happens that at Christmas time you always get like sort of Lego deals and things like that. But I tend to look till after Christmas when they all go down in price and then buy one for the next year. And what we do is that we make them after Christmas, and it gives us something to do.
Lovely. Thank you. I'm going to turn now to Andrew. Andrew, show us your second choice. Okay, how about these? Make sure I got that the right way up. Hope you can see that. So this is my cat, who's just in the other room now.
Wow.
And you can see that pine cone detail here, those fir cones there. So I take photographs all around the garden, get in and take really good close-ups. You need to get really close up to get this effect. And when you get a good one, I just go to the photocopying shop, print out 10, 20 copies. Once I've got those, I just use plain cards. You can buy these from craft shops and so on, these plain craft cards. And just a glue stick like this kind here.
Okay.
Just stick your photocopy of a photograph onto that, and then you can add different pieces like this Merry Christmas down here, little 3D touches you can see just on the corners here. I think there's one there, isn't there?
Yep.
And I've got a few more of these that I can show you in my jars here, this kind of thing. And these are from the Works, which is a bookshop. I think you know it.
Helen, and what about you? Oh yeah, I've got the same. Look, Merry Christmas as well. I get them from the Works.
You get these little craft bells, these little craft bells and things like that. It's good. They're good. They're a good price. I mean, you can see the price on here. And again, coming back to this this binding wire, which, as I mentioned before, is a really good buy. You can just make these strings of little bells, hang them over the photo, use the photo as a background, and just attach those.
Okay, so Andrew.
Not so easy to post, though. That's my only note. You can't really post them very well. So something like this that's got a flat surface and only a small 3D edition, you can post. So yeah, I've tried posting some to my house. Some have come, some haven't got through, some have come, but yeah, I needed to pay extra because of the thickness of the card. So it's worth going to the post office and making sure that you can post those. Something like this with these attachments, the bells might get damaged in the post and so on. So if you are posting to afar, something like this is a better option.
So just for me recap, so you look for interesting images that you can photograph, and then you glue them onto card, and then
It can be
send them
anything.
out.
It can be anything. Just use your imagination. Some really interesting close-ups. Any image that looks great. You could use it this year, or you could save it for next year. Just be creative with it.
Wow. Could I add something, Afro?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just when I was looking at the photographs, it reminded me of a Christmas card, and I want to show you this. Now, all of you know that when Christmas finishes, everybody's a bit sort of fed up, but you've got this pile of cards, Christmas cards. Again, do not throw them out. Now, this box, as you can see, just an ordinary plain box. And what I've done is I've taken the Christmas card and put the front cover and stuck it on the box.
That's a good idea. And keep your crafts in it, maybe.
Yeah, and I can use it for next year as well. So it's what Andrew was saying. I tend to do that as well. I make it 3D. We add extra wee bits on it just to make it interesting. But I'll be honest with you, Andrew, I'll be pinching your ideas now because your ideas were fabulous.
You're very welcome. So just as while we're talking about Christmas cards, Andrew, I can see a very interesting display behind you. Can you talk us through that?
Oh, these are so very old cards, kind of postcard type things. Personally, I love anything to do with history. And I actually purchased these from eBay. I was looking through all the things, and I picked out the things that really tickled my fancy, the things that I really liked. So you can see,
old. Yeah.
Look at them. Wow.
How old are they, Andrew?
Over 100 years old.
Wow.
So I'll show you what I've actually done. So I've got these wee postcards. You see this one here?
Oh, that's beautiful. That's
lovely. Isn't it? I love the art. I love the design. I love everything about it. And if you look at right in the middle at the 25, it's just done so beautifully. And also what I like is what's very interesting is behind the card. Because what it'll do is it's a postcard, so you get memories of people that have shared things in the past. They're all there.
Yes. So this is real history here.
Yeah.
And they're written in ink, aren't they? In that beautiful cursive script written with
yeah.
And
it's a moment in time. You know, you can see that the writing and all the curves and the fancy tales. So what I've done is I got a branch, and I'll try and move my camera. Oh, there you can see it better.
Yeah. So I like that.
So just a branch, and I attached some string to the branch.
That's a good idea.
This kind of string. And I let loose bits of string hang down from the branch.
And then you just clip them.
Yeah, these tiny wee clothes pegs, and just clip them onto strings, and it looks so beautiful. And it's also interesting. It's interesting about the art, and it's a talking piece, you know. And you know, you can do lots of different things, you know, that you can have in your background.
And that's perfect because it's beautiful and it's over 100 years old. So that's just awesome. I mean, there's so much value and interest in that.
Yeah, well, things like you'll pay £1 for the postcard. That's all. It's not that expensive.
Oh
Some
my goodness.
can be up to a wee bit more. But I have a particular favourite in eBay, and you just bid and bid and bid.
And how many postcards have you bought from your favourite seller so far, roughly?
I would say 50 maybe.
50. Oh, okay, not bad.
But remember, when these cards are finished and I take them off, I'll put new ones in at the new year. So these are my postcards for Christmas, and the design changes.
No, that is
January.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, and the bell.
Wow.
That's lovely. The bells for
Do you
New
see
Year.
it? Do you see all the things around it?
And 12 o'clock, yeah, the bells at midnight. Wow, that's amazing. New Year cards. Interesting.
And it is, even now, it's very rare to see a New Year card.
Yeah,
But in those days, it was really important to celebrate the New Year.
and that's really different, isn't it? Actually, I do remember when I was a wee, we used to get cards and we would pin them, pin them up. But yours is a much better and much more aesthetically pleasing display. It's beautiful. Thank you. And interesting to see your interest in cards and photographs and displays. And it's colourful. It's beautiful. Moira, can we turn to your second craft? What have you got for us?
Well, for me is don't throw out toilet rolls. The cardboard where you
Okay.
have your toilet roll, never throw it out. Or tins, like for tins of beans or soup.
Is it just a
Keep
tin?
them. It could be dog food that was in it. It could be anything. But clean out the tin and keep it. Sometimes you could maybe use like children's plastic cups or other kind of like plasticky things. And this is what I'm attempting to make.
So is this the toilet roll that you're showing us now? Is that the inner tube of the toilet roll? Right,
Yeah,
okay.
that's right, Avro. So what you do is inside you paint the toilet roll black. Then you get some gold paint with a kind of sponge brush. See it? Metallic gold. And you paint that on the outside. And then you get a kind of brown paint. I kind of give you a kind of vintage colour. And then what you do is you basically rag and dab all over this kind of vintage brown over the gold. This is a wee bit expensive, but use it a lot. And that is a sort of gold, shiny, metallic.
Okay, like a shimmer?
Yes, exactly like a shimmer. Thank you for that. And these are the sort of things that you can make. Do you see that?
Look at that.
Now, what you do is you use your glue gun, and your glue gun makes you look as if you've created rivets. Look,
Oh,
and a
that's
bit of
amazing.
welding. And that could be a bit of plastic. It could be a bit of anything at all, some sort of like bit of good cardboard that goes over. And then you put a bit of string at the top.
Wow.
Now, see the coffee jar lids? That's the coffee jar lid at the top, and at the bottom, what I've did in the tin is put a tiny wee bit of cinnamon stick in it, so it becomes a bell. And there's the twine as well.
Wow.
So there you go. Look at that, from old tins.
Wow, I like that. I really like that. Can I ask you, Moira? Oh, go ahead.
That's a children's cup, an old children's plastic cup.
Oh, wow. So you've got all different shapes.
You can put them outside your door, just to sort of create a nice, lovely view for people going past. It could be in the past that you put them outside to ward away evil spirits. You can really put them anywhere.
Helen, you wanted to ask a question. Yeah, I was going to ask them where she put them, but Moira's answered that already. Thank you.
So we're okay for time at the moment. Helen, would you like to show us another craft?
Yeah, I would actually. I'm quite keen on the environment, as we said before. And I try not to buy too many Christmas things. So I'm sure we'll all be drinking a little bit of wine over Christmas, and we might want to take the corks out of the bottles. Don't throw them away. I keep them, set them to one side, and let me show you. Where have I put it now? Where have I put it? Hang on. Oh, there we go. And I make something like this. So you can see the cork in the bottom there. That's just the cork. So if you've got a champagne cork, keep it. And what I do like to do is keep that, it comes with a little kind of metal cage around it, this kind of foil cage around the cork. Leave it on. And you can see that's the screw at the back there. Just leave that on. And then, you know, in the autumn when I'm walking, I like to collect things from nature. And I saw, you know, there's a particular tree, the sycamore tree, that has these wing-shaped keys, the seeds. And when they fall, they kind of helicopter down. And in the wind, you know, it brings them down and they litter the ground. And you can see what I've done is I've attached them to the back of the cork here. That not, but you know, I found really nice ones, not bent ones or anything like that. So beautiful sets of wings. Used the glue gun again, just stuck them on. And then for the head, I've used just an old bauble. I don't throw anything away, keep them. Attach that as the head. And then you've got a little ribbon at the top there. And let me just show you what I've done with that. So these little pieces of ribbon are in fact from Christmas crackers. You know, so the little bits of ribbon that are tied around each end of the Christmas cracker, don't throw them away. Keep them, gather them. You might need to give them a little bit of an iron after they've been on the Christmas cracker, and then you can use them to hang decorations like this. And also, what was I going to show? Oh, yes. Yeah, here it is. Also, the paper from the crackers, I don't throw that away either, because, hang on, as you can see, you can make these. Can you see those clearly? So this is just from crackers. And people throw those away. You know, you can just remodel them, refashion them, and you've got something like this. I can show you how to do that. So as Moira said, you need to get a toilet roll innard, and you just fold one end of it, take your stapler, staple that together. So you've now sealed one end. And then with the other end, you want to fold it in the opposite way, right? And then you take your ribbon from the Christmas cracker, just insert that in the middle before you staple those two things together. And then you've got your basic shape. It's so simple. You can hang that on the Christmas tree. And if you want to add more to that, then this kind of thing can just be stuck very easily over the surface. You can paint it. You can do all kinds of things with it. So that's just one of my favorite little things.
I love that, Helen, the fact you're recycling everything.
Yeah, all from a Christmas cracker, you know, that inner tube, the outside, you know, lovely, all of it. This is, you know, a robin from some old Christmas wrapping paper.
Wow.
Lovely, pretty little robin. So it's not good for the environment to throw things away. We need to keep things and reuse them.
Do you know, Helen, I'm looking at that where you're using a toilet roll. Do you know you could put a tiny wee gift in that and then staple it up?
Absolutely, you so could, and then gift it to someone. Yeah.
Okay, before we move on to something else, can I ask about what is that wreath you've got, Helen, in the background?
Oh, I did want to show you that, yeah. But before I do, can I just show you this? It's a little piece from a jigsaw, that's right.
It's jigsaw pieces.
And so, you know, maybe you've bought a jigsaw and you've lost some pieces over time. Don't throw it away, because, you know, whatever color it is, maybe you've got some nice Christmassy colors in there, and you can just arrange it like this.
Wow. Oh, show us a bit closer, Helen. Oh, brilliant.
Hope you can see that.
Yeah, that is amazing.
And the backing is just made from an old pizza box. Just cut. I've cut the circles out of an old pizza box. And the ribbon was attached to a present someone gave me, and I've reused that for this purpose. So again, saving the environment.
Helen, how many pieces do you think of the jigsaw is in that?
This was a 500-piece jigsaw, this one.
Wow. So, Andrew, could you show us something that you'd made as well?
Yeah, I just want to go back and show you the present wrapping that I showed you a little bit of earlier. So the paper, I always buy recycled paper. And you can tell because it will say it. There'll be a label like this, fully recyclable paper.
Okay.
And that's useful because you know that when you've finished with it, it can be recycled. Sometimes these Christmas wrapping papers have foil in them and then they can't be recycled. So be careful of those. Anyway, yes, the wrapping. You can add special details to the wrapping of your present, like this one here that I showed you, or you can also use leaves and cut out leaves to make shape.
Oh, is that rosemary?
Yep. It's actually just from the Christmas tree. I've gone around the Christmas tree and just nicked some little bits off.
Fantastic idea.
Yeah, and then those are the bells that I showed you earlier. And again, coming back to this, so useful, this binding wire. So you can do something like this with it, make these. And that's just taking a biro, winding your binding wire around the biro, slide it off, bingo, you've got a little spiral.
So simple.
And then there's a deer here, you can see, and that echoes the theme of the paper. And I've just bought these pieces. So, I mean,
I've got the same as them, Andrew, as well. Look.
For £1, you can just add those on. There you go.
Oh, lovely.
Look, little Christmas tree.
Oh.
So you get these 3D parcels and packages. And again, these are just little craft pieces. Let me get one out for you. And they come with a little peg like this. So once you've tied the ribbon around your parcel, you just attach it with the peg to the ribbon. So you can see that there, I think. Can you? There you go. Can see it?
Yep, can see it. Wow. That's just stunning.
And then these little dangly pieces here are just these pieces. You can just add all kinds of things, just create your own special decorations, or you could make it into a display, or, you know, you could use it in all kinds of places on the tree or around the house. Yeah, just create little bits.
Avril, you know the thing when I was looking at that parcel there and you could see the tree and the white in the background. Do you remember? It made me think of when you were younger, you used to use potatoes as stamps.
Potato printing.
And you'd make different trees. So there's something we never thought about. We used to do before. Andrew, could I ask you one more thing? You showed me a book earlier on that you did something with.
Oh, yeah. Here you go. And it opens like this.
Wow. You have to explain how you did this.
Okay, so you just take an old book, something like this.
So just any old book?
Yeah. I mean, it could be a new one if you want, but I prefer to use old ones. And you just rip a couple of pages out. Just rip maybe 20 altogether. You get a ruler. And then you glue down the edge and you fold that over so that you've got a regulation size. Once you've got 20 of those, they look a little bit like this. So you'll have 20 of those pieces. And then once they're glued, you're going to fold them. So again, you're going to do that for all 20 pieces. And then you might want to just cut out some shapes and pieces like that. Try making a card as a template, and then you can use that for all 20 pieces and they'll all be exactly the same. Okay. Once you've got those 20 pieces that look a little bit like this, you've got them all cut now, and you're going to make sure those edges are going to be neat at the bottom, and you're going to use your glue to just strip, place a strip of glue down each one and attach them and leave them to dry. So they're nice and dry. Then you've got 20 pieces and you just unfold it like that.
That's amazing.
Attach a piece of string at one end.
Wow.
There you go.
That's so good.
It's recycling paper.
Amazing. I think, to be honest, Andrew, you might have answered a question that we've had in. I'll just double check. And it's from Olive. And Olive asking she wants to see how Andrew makes star anise decoration, please.
Ah, right. Okay. This one, I think you mean, Olive.
Yep.
So let me talk you through that. Let me find all my pieces. So again, the binding wire. Take a piece of that. Let me just straighten that edge out. You get your little star anise, each piece. You're going to pass the wire around. Leave a nice long enough end to work with. Bind it round twice and then twist. Okay, and now that's secured. So you've got one. And then you just keep adding another one, another one, another one. And then eventually just loop them into a circle, twist again to finish. And you've got this.
Oh, well, I hope that answers your question, Olive.
The binding wire is the most useful thing for crafting.
Tell us the name again.
Binding wire. It's so useful. You can make all kinds of things with it.
Well, thank you, our audience, for that question. Is there anything else? What about you, Moira? I know maybe the people at home maybe like making cakes or do some baking and things like that. Well, this sugar paste is really useful. You can buy this. It's really quite cheap and it's lots of colours in it, as I'll show you. Look, so there's lots of nice primary colours in there. So what is it again, Moira? It's sugar paste, Avro. It's the same name as fondant icing. Sugar paste and fondant icing are exactly the same thing. So you can make, from the fondant icing, you can make different shapes, stars, deers, whatever. Leave that till it dries and then get a cupcake and put that on it the next day. And it looks very fancy.
That's fabulous. Anybody else got any contributions? Helen, you've got something behind you, I think, that looks very interesting. What's that there?
I go on and on about the environment, and I don't take it back. But my daughter, when she was really small, she had this dress, and I've used this dress and the material of the dress, and I thought, let me cut off the sleeves, both sleeves, and it had a kind of flood, bit of the
frilled cuff.
Yep, a frilled cuff. It did. So I took them off, added these little decorations to them, little stars, glued them on. And as you can see, I have ended up with this. And you might be asking, what is that for? Well, this is exactly what it's for. Look at that.
Oh, so you just did that from a sleeve?
Yeah, a sleeve of a dress. Yeah, it's a sleeve from a dress and it becomes a bottle warmer you can put out as a present. I had an old tartan scarf that I really had never used and I thought, I could use this for something. And I used it as wrapping paper.
Oh, wow. Wow.
There you've got a bit of ribbon. And there, the ties and pyjamas that were too small now and thrown out, we kept the ties. So you can use that as a present as well.
Recycling clothing, that's a great idea.
And it's so good for the environment.
Wow, so many different things. Anything else that anyone wants to show? Moira?
You know, when your children are really small and you usually get like maybe presents and there's like fancy ribbons on them or shiny stuff, don't throw them out. Keep them. Because look, this is a picture that my son made years ago just from the old stuff.
It's just
He was
collage.
only 3, so you can use all of that material you've got so that the child can make a collage. Now, that big bit of green was just taking a bit of green paper and cutting out of it. And he was so proud he had created this. And we all know that young children don't have the dexterity to make, like a big full face. They'll draw lots of maybe lines and different things. Well, what you can do is you can actually maybe cut out a circle for them, put it in a bit of paper, and get some cotton wool and get them to stick it on and make a Santa.
Aw, that's lovely.
So these are just simple things to keep them occupied during Christmas and New Year.
Yeah, I'm just reaching behind me for these. Yeah, just these.
So can everyone see them?
And these are really easy to make with children. You know, when you're walking, pick up the pine cones. I've just glued them to corks from wine bottles, and they turn into little trees, and you can stand them in a row and decorate them and all kinds of things. Just a wee idea.
Andrew, do you want to add something else? Is there anything else you want to show us?
I think I'm done. Yeah, I think I'm done.
Right, I'm just going to have a quick look to our comments. And I've got one comment from Olive, who's just quite simply saying, thank you for this tonight, because I've bought loads of star anise from India on a recent holiday. So now she's got something to use them for.
Great.
Okay, so now, well, all of you have been, sharing your skills and your ideas and your experience of being involved in crafts. But I would like to share with you my craft. But I have to put a disclaimer in. It's not of the same standard as everybody else. But let's have a look. Let's see the photograph. This is my craft. Wow, great. Well, you see the first picture? That was a Lego tree. I bought the kit and then you just arranged it and it became a tree. And it was really good because the thing about Lego is you can take it all apart and start it again.
Yeah.
And that should satisfy you, Helen, being recyclable.
Indeed. Yep.
The second one is a pottery, and you can see it's all plain white of a sort of Christmas tree. And then I painted it. And then after that, it took hours and hours to paint it. And then it was in the kiln. And the other one that I've made is for a candle holder, and you can see the wee cat on it. So, I had to go to the special shop and put it in the proper kiln oven to make sure it was hardened. So I don't know if that's technically a craft, but that was my
It looks good. It looks good. Lovely.
Well, I think probably the question that's, I suppose in everybody's minds is, what's your favourite craft? Let's go to each of you. Moira. Well, for me, it's baking. I love doing crafts with baking and cakes and watching the pleasure of people looking at it and enjoying. Andrew.
For me, sorry, is it who's going first?
Oh, is it Helen or it's Andrew?
For me, it's nature and recycling, making paper out of things in nature, and recycling things out of paper. And that's just made out of an old book. So, yeah, I like doing that kind of thing. Recycling, always recycling.
Where do you think you're getting the best access to crafts? Is it like Facebook, or is there a different, maybe YouTubers, or different things on the internet? What would you advise our audience if they were interested in where to go?
I think Andrew is going to go first. Normally, I buy mostly from the Works bookshop. The Range is a good place to go. But I watch
Reels?
reels on Facebook. You know, if you click on the reels, you see little craft ideas come up, lots of creative
Wow.
suggestions, and yeah, I got lots of inspiration from there.
Moira? Oh, I think for me, it really depends if someone asks me to make something and I get really excited. If it's just left to my own devices, I'm maybe not as passionate. But if there's an event in the Deaf Club, then I love joining and being involved and, looking at everybody else's skill, learning and sharing from each other. Helen?
For me, I get inspiration from YouTube quite a lot. And Pinterest as well. That's a good place, a nice app, Pinterest. But I do like to craft on my own. It's a kind of meditative thing for me, quite a therapeutic thing. And if someone likes it, then I like to just gift things that I've made,
Could I ask Helen at the moment, what is your favourite craft at the moment?
I like my magazine tree at the moment. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I think it's turned out really well. I'm pleased with it. Yeah.
I suppose you could, depend on the size of magazine, the tree would be different sizes.
Yeah, when Andrew was saying about old books, I was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be interesting to experiment with those and make trees out of those? Yeah.
I think that's a good idea as well.
Yeah, I
Well,
might start doing that. Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe each of you should maybe steal an idea from each one of you.
Oh, yeah, I'm buzzing with ideas now. I just want to keep going.
Oh, I'm looking at all the different things and I'm thinking, all the different stuff that you've done with like magazines. He's got lots of motorcycle magazines. I might make a tree with that.
Oh, great. Yeah.
And what about you,
I
Helen?
like the photographs and sticking the photographs on things. I like that. And I'm looking at these kind of shapes that I've got here, and I'm thinking, oh, I might do what Andrew did and stick them on. And I've got these pieces like this. I could make 3D applique like you did. I think that loads of really useful ideas. So thank you, Moira. Thank you, Andrew. I'm inspired.
Andrew, and what would you maybe copy from Moira and Helen?
Well, I'm going to try and make that book tree for sure. I really like that with the folded pages. I'm going to give that a go. I'm going to try it maybe with this book and see if that will work. I'd be keen to see.
Well, when each of you do it, please post it on this Facebook page so that our audience at home can actually see what you've done. It'd be great. And also share some ideas. So as time is marching, we know this is the festive time. People are looking forward to Christmas. But then after Christmas, when we get to New Year, sometimes the deaf community and members of our community can be quite lonely and quite isolated and maybe have, not much to do and not many people to see. Is it any ideas or tips you can give them? Helen?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got your Christmas cards, if you've received Christmas cards, spend some time just cutting out the images there and saving them for next year. You might want to make something like this with your boxes. Amazon, we all get Amazon boxes these days, don't we? Lots and lots
Mm-hmm.
of different boxes. What's the point of throwing those away? We could be using them again. Cut out your Christmas cards, make this kind of thing, and recycle them into presents for people. So just a tip if you find yourself at a loose end.
Andrew, what about yourself? Well, I was thinking about this. Do you see this little rose that I've made out of paper? Well, what you can do is you just make it out of any kind of paper, and then you cut your design for the petal. You cut loads and loads of them. There is a tutorial on my group, so you can actually look and you can see how to make it if anybody wants to.
And after New Year, maybe you had those lovely New Year cards. So maybe you're going to be making that New Year display, right?
Yeah, my wee postcards.
Yeah, show us some more of those, Andrew.
Yeah, well, what I'll be doing once Christmas is all past, they'll be getting removed, and my New Year postcards will be getting replaced, or we're getting put up instead. So that will make us excited for the new year.
So a new display, amazing. So once Christmas is over and you need to do something, particularly if you're on your own or you've been a bit lonely through Christmas, maybe you could turn to crafts and change your environment a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I would say to people, look at this, and this is something that I've made.
That's great.
It's for a Christmas tree ball, but what it is, it's old instructions, and then I got old Lego and I put them all in. So it's a combination of paper and Lego. But I think the thing for everybody, what's important, regardless of what you're making, is photograph what you've done, because that can be a starting point of conversation with family, particularly during Christmas time.
Yeah, and I want to say, don't throw away things that you've made or stick them in a cupboard. Show them to other people, because as soon as you start sharing and showing, people will ask you to make things for them, and it's really lovely to be able to do that and gift those kinds of things to people. It makes you feel good.
Would you believe it? It is now past an hour.
Wow, really?
Whoa. I know, I knew it was going to be like that. We've all been so focused on all of your crafts, and I'm sure everybody at home's been watching carefully.
Wow.
I can only thank you for your time,
It's been great.
for
Thank
allowing
you.
us to share of everything that you've done, and just all of your tips and advice. I think you'll get everybody all stimulated and excited for Christmas. And keep it up, and keep it up at the new year. And let's make sure we all keep in contact with each other. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching at home.
Bye.
Bye.